What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be your review for the Real Housewives of Dallas, season 4, episode 9. Now, once again, I'm a week behind. I don't know how I keep getting behind on this show. I thought I did this review, but I guess I didn't. So we start the episode off. We have Brandy, Deanne, and the new Carrie. The new Carrie meeting down, and they're having lunch, and they're just kind of recapping what went down, and they were just making a joke about, the lady showing up, the uninvited guest showing up at the last ladies' night and the happy hour, whatever it was, and they were just talking about how they were surprised at Cameron because she's all about etiquette and proper etiquette and everything, and how dare she show up with someone who wasn't invited. And then they joke again about the invitation to the wedding. The new Carrie has not gotten the invitation. She still just got the text message. And Brandy was like, yeah, I'm not just going to show up off of it. She was like, first of all, once again, we're talking about etiquette. You invite me to your wedding, 2 weeks out, then I'm going to assume that I wasn't, or however many weeks it was, I'm going to assume that I wasn't really invited. And then it's a text message. She was like, that's not what I consider to be a proper invitation to a wedding, is a text message. She was like, I already, me and her husband, oh shoot, y'all. Her husband already had plans. They're going to the draft, and it's funny because the draft was in Nashville, and I was in Nashville around that time, so I know around the time this was all filmed or whatever. And she was like, yeah, we already have plans, so I'm not going to be in town anyway, so, there's that. Now, while this conversation is going on, Leanne, Stephanie, Cameron, Tiffany. If y'all watched the first season, y'all remember Tiffany from the first season, who was Leanne's good friend. She's been a lot of these episodes because, of course, her and Leanne are still really good friends, and she's been doing a lot with the wedding. She's been at like the different showers and things like that, and so she's here, and they're actually going to see Leanne in the dress. The dress is beautiful. The dress is beautiful. I'm not gonna front. It looks really, really nice. And later on, when we get to the wedding, her makeup and all her jewelry, it came together really, really nice. It really did. So then we see the new Carrie meeting up with her daughter. This is the daughter that's in high school. And come to find out, the daughter that's in high school is into fashion design, and she wants to go to school for that, and she's actually making her prom dress. And again, you see her trying to have a conversation, and the girl is just bratty. I'm sorry. And I don't know if it's teenage bratty or if it's more there. I don't know if there's something more under the surface bratty, or if she's just being that normal 18-year-old, I think I know everything bratty. You know what I mean? But she was talking about, but we did get a little bit more information where basically her husband controls the purse strings, and she has to ask him permission. And her daughter wants to go to this fancy camp in Europe, like fashion design camp in Europe, and she's like, well, I don't want to ask because I know he's not going to pay for it. Talking about her husband, he's not going to pay for it. I've already he kind of blew me off already. He already kind of blew me off about it already. And, once again, we see Carrie saying how, that's why she's trying to get the jewelry line launched, because she never wants to be in a position where she is dependent on a man again. But it sounds like she is. She said that her name isn't on anything. Her name isn't on the house. Her name is, and she said, she's asked him, just throw me a bone. Put my name on the house. Put my name on a car. Do something. And he refuses. And so I'm like, girl, the faster you set your own thing up, the better. Because, see, I have a problem with that. I understand that he works in his heads, but the reluctance of him adding you to anything would make me a little bit leery. Okay. All right, you guys. Now, we're at a part of the episode that's very serious. And I'm very serious when I'm getting ready to say the next thing I'm getting ready to say. We see Brandy with her children again. And once again, we see her and her daughter Brooklyn clashing. Brooklyn is riding the scooter in the street. She's not supposed to ride the scooter in the street. And the more and more Brandy tells her to stop, she is insistent on doing the opposite of whatever Brandy tells her to do. And at a certain point, Brandy told her to stop, and the girl's getting smart with her, and talking back to her and just saying whatever she want to say. And at a certain point, Brandy just walked away and went in the house. Now, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I know she's not about to walk away and let that girl talk to her crazy. But then I realized what she was doing. She was angry. And she was so angry. And she was probably embarrassed because the cameras were rolling. And she was she was upset. I mean, she was crying. And so in that moment, I was like, good, walk away. Because you should not deal with it. When you're that angry, then you probably shouldn't deal with it. Give her a moment, give yourself a minute to bring yourself back. And then she went back outside and she talked to the girl. Now, she had told the girl to come in the house because she was riding in the street. She wasn't supposed to be. The girl was still riding around in that damn scooter. See, that scooter would have been under a car. She wouldn't have had no more scooter. So Brandy says, Brooklyn, why are you riding around without your helmet? Now, see, Brooklyn ain't smart enough to figure out, oh, she forgot about the fact that I ain't even supposed to be riding my scooter. She gonna get smart with her about the helmet. So then Brandy said, you know what? Put it up. Put it up. She gonna tell Brandy no. But she ain't all the way crazy, because while she was telling Brandy no, she was moving the scooter towards the house. Brandy tried to take it from her. The girl wouldn't let her take it from her. And Brandy is just pissed. Do you hear me? And I can see it. So then the girl ends up going in the house, running up the stairs and slamming the door. Brandy, here's where... Because up until then, like I said, you were angry, so I get it. This is where I say to you, because she was saying in her confessional that, you know, she doesn't want her kids to resent her. She doesn't want them, you know... and what I'm going to say to you, Brandy, is this. Kids hate their parents. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter what you give them. It doesn't matter if you're mean. Kids are going to find a reason to be mad at their parents at some point. There is no perfect parent relationship when children are growing up. Here's what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't give a fuck. She's 10. It is not your job to make her like you. It is not your job to make sure she doesn't get angry with you. She is 10. I don't know what she's angry about. But she needs some help. You need to get her into some counseling. Or you need to whoop her ass. It's just one of the two. Now, if you don't want to use corporal punishment to deal with the issue, then you need to get her into counseling. Because there is clearly an issue. I don't know what it is. I don't know who she's mad at. I don't know why she's mad. But she's upset about something. I feel where you are coming from, Brandy, but I really feel like you are too worried about her feelings. Because she went upstairs and slammed the door, and then Brandy gonna go upstairs and try to reason with her. I mean, I don't want you to think I'm just worried about you, and I just want to make sure that you, Brandy, stop trying to justify being a mother to her. She's a kid. She is a kid who was pushing the envelope because she thinks that she wants to do whatever she wants to do. Stop it. Stop it. And I know that's easier said than done. I'm not saying beat that child, because that ain't my place to tell you that. But what I am going to say is you do need to get her some help, because she's got an issue. I don't know what that issue is. I don't know why she's angry. I don't know what she's angry about, but she's angry. Okay? Now, that's just my 2 cents. Now, we see Deandra and her husband. Now, this one I'm not getting ready to do. I'm not going to sit here and spend a whole lot of time on Deandra, her mama, her husband, and this business. At the end of the day, her husband is now seeing all that is going on with this business. And the husband is ready to have a conversation with the mother. And Deandra is like, can you? Like, really? Because at this point, I guess Deandra's like, it ain't nothing left for me to say. Deandra, I think you need to take Travis's advice and you need to gut that damn company and you need to start over and make something you want to make. What we found out was The company became so popular and made so much money because it did infomercials on Christian TV, where they're no longer doing the infomercials. So at this point, you no longer have an outlet. Her mother said the money was just coming in left and right when they were going Christian TV because, yeah, you weren't competing with anybody else. And all them little Christian women, just like they would get on the phone and make those donations to the 700 Club and all of that, they would get on the phone and they would buy your products, your Miracle Beauty products, and you didn't have a competition. Deandra, 2 things I would say to you about this company. 1, see if you can get it on QVC. Have y'all tried to go on QVC? People seem to do well on QVC. 2, if you can't get it on QVC, gut it. You can't compete. That product, not without a lot of money behind it, that product can't compete with what's on the market these days. Not without a lot of money behind it. Maybe, she's just trying to get enough money to be able to get one product out. But is that one product going to bring you the kind of money you need to keep your business open? I don't know. Then her mother said, her mother said in the confessional, I'm not putting no money into that company because I'm not convinced that company can survive. Which further says that she waited until she bled that company dry and then she gave it to you. And she gonna say, I don't have any regrets. I don't regret anything. I don't think I did anything wrong. You don't. You really don't. You can really sit there with a straight face and feel like you didn't do anything wrong. That's the sad state of affairs, that you feel like you ain't do nothing wrong. You set her up. And then we see flashbacks where Deandra was asking about the finances, and her mother wouldn't let her be a part of it. Her mother told her that she didn't need to be concerned with what was going on. Now her mother's telling her, well, you didn't pay enough attention and you didn't learn enough about the business. You wouldn't let her. Deandra, sell what's left of that company. Find a buyer. Find a bigger cosmetic company who's willing to buy the formula and the recipes. Find one. Sell it. Take that money. Start your own thing. If you want to get back into doing political consulting, you can do political consulting in Dallas. You can do it down in that red state, honey. But so that's that. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on that. We see they go out to dinner, and I ain't spending a whole bunch of time on that because I'm done with Mama D. Mama D, you wrong. You are wrong. You set your daughter up for failure, and now you chastising her for failing. You set her up for failure. Leanne and Rich go out to dinner. It's like 2 days before the wedding, and they're happy. They look happy. They're having a great meal. But it seemed like the biggest thing that came out of that conversation was Leanne talking about her mom. Now, if you go back to season 1, we remember that her mom, Leanne and her mom went into therapy season 1 to sort of talk about Leanne's issues, some of her abandonment issues and things like that. And Leanne said she ain't talked to her mama since then because she said that she felt like her mother was being disingenuous and that her mother was saying what she needed to say to make her look good. She said in front of the therapist, but I say in front of the cameras. And so she said, there's no need for me to engage in any type of therapy if you're not going to be honest and genuine about the therapy. And I can agree with that. Her mother is coming to the wedding. Rich was asking her, well, are you going to pick your mom up? Is your mother staying with us? Like, what's the plan? And Leanne was like, look, this is my wedding. I don't have time to keep up with my mama doing. Brandy and Stephanie have a podcast. If you follow them on social media, you've seen them talking about their podcast and stuff. And it looks like it's just them sitting around being silly. They pulled a prank on Carrie. Carrie was in good spirits. It was all, done in fun. They're enjoying it. They're having a good time. But after the podcast was over, there was a really serious conversation that Brandy had with Stephanie in reference to, what's her son's name? Oh shoot, the boy she just adopted. It's not Cruz. Cruz is Stephanie's son. I don't know. It's very old English, like Baron or something like that, but that's not his name. It's something. What is that little boy's name? Is it? It's not Bruiser. Anyway, the son that she just adopted. Come to find out, the mother is pregnant again. And what I didn't know is that in situations, and the mother wants to put the baby up for adoption. And what I did not know is that social services basically gives the adoptive parents of the sibling, I guess, first option, for lack of a better word, of adopting the sibling, because then they try to put they try to keep siblings together. And after seeing what Brandy is going through with Brooklyn and just juggling the three kids, she was very emotional. She was very upset. She was crying, and she was like, she said, I'm just exhausted. She said, I'm overwhelmed with the three that I have. She was like, but at the same time, I would love for, oh, it was just on the tip of my tongue. She said, but I would love for him to grow up with his sibling, but I can't. Like, I just don't think that I have the bandwidth right now to pick up another child. Like, even with help, I just don't know if I can do it. It's just too much. The three kids I have right now are just too much. But of course, there's guilt involved in that. Like, you want him to be able to grow up with his sibling. You want him to have that. But it's a lot of guilt involved in that. But at the end of the day, it sounds like, good Lord. Is that my mama? What just happened? Oh, my phone just went off. Oh, because it's dead. I forgot to put it on the charger. But at the end of the day, it sounds like she's probably not going to adopt the baby. The other thing, and I kind of glossed over the prank they pulled. Brandy can do these impressions and do these voices. She did this voice. They pulled a prank. They called Carrie like she had some spiders in her yard or something, and she pulled this prank like she was the voice of the groundskeeper next door, or what have, landscaper from next door, and it was good. Like, she did really good with it. Brandy definitely, she has some talent when it comes to that type of stuff. Somebody put in my comments last week, Brandy's not as funny as she thinks she is. I don't think she's as funny as she thinks she is either, but I do think she's talented when it comes to doing impressions and voices and things like that. I do think she has like a little talent there. So now we are here, ladies and gentlemen. It is the day of Leanne's wedding. Her and Rich show up together. She said all that with tradition, all of that. The bride doesn't see the groom the night before, whatever. I'm making my own rules. I'm going to see whoever I want to see. We see that, she's getting her hair and makeup done and everything. Carrie is over Stephanie's house. And they're talking about the fact that there's a 4-hour window between Leanne's wedding and her reception. I ain't never been to a wedding that had a 4-hour window. Now, I've been to a wedding that had a long window. But 4 hours? I don't know if I would make it to the reception. If you gave me 4 hours to think about it, I don't know if I would make it to the reception. Now, unless the reception is like unless the wedding is in the morning and the reception is like an after hours thing and you want people to change and come in after hours attire or something like that. But I just can't see. That's a long ass window. I mean, it ain't that many pictures in the world that it's going to be a 4-hour window. But whatever. We see that Carrie is going to the wedding. And her and Cameron are getting dressed together over at Cameron's house. And honey, Cameron's husband is just, he just, at one point in time, I thought that Cameron's husband was a little demanding and a little bit dismissive of her. But after seeing him, Cora is just, oh my gosh, he just worships the ground that Cameron walks on. He's bringing them breakfast, and he's just all kinds of stuff we found out about Mr. Court. And Carrie was like, my husband need to come over here and take some lessons, because, honey, if this were us, he'd be expecting me to make breakfast for him while I'm getting my hair and makeup done, much less bringing me breakfast. And I'm thinking, now is that saying more about your marriage or hers? But anyway, the wedding is getting started. And like I said, Leanne looked beautiful. Her hair, her makeup was gorgeous, because, sometimes Leanne's makeup be a little questionable. But her makeup was gorgeous. But where we left off this episode was her mother's not there. And Leanne is about to go walk down the aisle. And like Leanne said, she said, once I close that door, honey, that's it. Because nobody is going to upstage me. So we'll see tonight what happens with her mama. If her mama get there on time, honey. Let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.